Okay, so problem number 13, you guys should have done 11 and 12. Problem number 13 is asking to compare y equals 1/3 x squared. That's the red one that you see up here with the blue one, the very skinny downward quadratic. So what do you notice about the red one and the blue one? What do they have in common? So the x-intercept and the y-intercepts are the same. So x-intercept, y-intercepts are the same. What else is the same? The axis of symmetry is the same. The vertex is the same. Remember, they're both 0, 0. They both have the same vertex. What else do they have in common? The domain. Remember, all quadratics have the same domain. And I think that's about it. So again, their x and y intercepts are the same. The axis of symmetry is the same because both of them have the y-axis as their axis of symmetry. It cuts it down the middle. They have the vertex the same, and they have the domain the same. Okay? Let's go to problem number 14. Now we're comparing the red one and the light green one. So I think it's about the same, right? You still have the same x-intercept, the same y-intercept, the same axis of symmetry, vertex, and the same domain. And the same thing for number 15. I think they all have the same intercepts, the same axis of symmetry, the same vertex, and the same domain. So we're going to move on and we're going to go to page 16. Problem 16. Problem 16. So they gave you the function. If they don't give you the graph of it, you know you can always put this in decimals, right? And you know what? It would help you even more if you go ahead and type it, because then you can touch. You can touch different places and find the vertex, the x-intercepts. If you don't know how to write them, let's say this one, and you don't know if it's 0, 3, or if it's 3, 0, you can always look in decimals just to make sure. Alright? So what are the x-intercepts for this function? -2 and 3. So it's -2, 0 and 3, 0. What are the linear factors of this function? So linear factors, I don't know if you guys remember from Algebra 1, but you change the sign of it. You change the sign of it because you have x equals -2 and you have x equals 3 as the intercepts. If I draw the line and I move these over, okay, the sign changes. So now I have x plus 2 as one of the factors. And if I move this over to the other side, the sign changes to a -3. So now I have x minus 3 as the other factor. Okay? So again, in order to find the linear factors, you change the sign of the intercepts. So if it's -2, then you know it's going to be x plus 2. If it's a +3, you know it's going to be x minus 3. You just change the sign of it. Okay? Problem number 17. Now it's asking you, what are the linear factors of a quadratic? If the linear factors of a quadratic function are x minus 7 and x plus 2, what are the x-intercepts? Well, what did I just say? You have to change the signs. So what's this one going to be? It's going to be a positive. X equals 7. What's the other one going to be? X equals -2. And if you forget, let me show you how you're going to do it. You just type this in decimals, and you type this in decimals, and you go look for the x-intercepts of it. So let's go in decimals and type x minus 7. Right here, x minus 7. And go look at the x-intercept. It's a positive 7. Okay? Same thing for the other one. If I type x plus 2, and I go look for the x-intercept, it's a negative 2. Okay? So you can do it either way. You can either remember what I just taught you, or you can type it in and go find it for yourself. Okay? Now the next one, problem number 18. Okay, it says, look at this equation. What is the value of n? So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to solve it. So let's write that down. N divided by 9 plus 10.36 equals 25.36. Draw the line. And we're doing C do, right? What do you see happening with the n? It's dividing, right? Dividing by what? What is the n doing? Dividing by 9. What else is it doing? Adding 10.36. So what's the first thing we're going to do? From the bottom up, we're going to subtract first. So minus 10.36 from both sides. So everybody go ahead and start subtracting using the calculator. 25.36 minus 10.36 gives you 15. Okay? And what's the last step? Yeah, the opposite of division is to multiply by 9. So we need to multiply both sides by 9, and that'll give us the answer. So go ahead and multiply 15 times 9. Is it 135? Yes. Okay, good. All right, problem number 19. We're going to type this. This is an equation. Type it in decimals. And then it says, what is f of 2? Well, that's the same thing as f of x. So they're telling us our x is 2. The x needs to be 2. And we're looking for the other number on the y. So we're going to type this in decimals. We're going to look at the table at 2. What does it give me? So everybody's in decimals typing. F of x, parentheses, x equals 5, parentheses, x plus 3, close parentheses, minus 7x. What do I do next? Yeah, so what do I do in decimals?
No, you're going to put
the gear?
Yeah.
The settings, table,
And you're going to find 2.
and find 2 and see what it gives you. So our answer is 11, okay? So it's y equals 11. All right? Now the next ones. I know y'all love the next ones. I'm going to refresh your memory on loss of exponents. Right here, how many x's do you have?
6.
So draw them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many x's do you have here? 2. How many x's do you have in total? 8, so the answer is x to the power of 8. That's it. All right? Number 21, you can never have negative exponents. Never, ever, ever, ever. What do you do with negative exponents? You move it. If it's at the bottom, you move it to the top. If it's at the top, you move it to the bottom. Okay? So right now it's at the bottom. You're going to move it to the top, and you're going to make it a positive exponent. So now we have x to the 4th power, and we have x square. Nothing is left at the bottom because we moved it up to the top. Okay? So if I have 4 x's here and 2 x's here, how many x's do I have in total? X to the 6th power. Okay? Number 22, same thing, we're going to expand. Okay? What's 18 divided by 3? 6. How many a's do I have on top? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many a's do I have on bottom? 1. And then what do? Did y'all forget? You cancel, right? You cancel if you can. And then how many a's do you have left over now? 3. So your answer is 6a to the 3rd power. Easy. Super easy. All right. Problem 23. We're going to expand. Divide. What's negative 336 divided by 8? Everybody in the calculator. Negative 336 divided by 8. Negative 42 on the top. Expand the x's. How many x's do I have on top? 2 on top. How many y's on top? 3 on top. 1, 2, 3. On bottom, how many x's do I have? 1, 2, 3. How many y's do I have on bottom? 1, 2. What can I cancel? 2 x's and 2 y's. So I would have negative 42 y at the top, right? The y stays at the top, divided by what's at the bottom? The x. And that's your answer. Okay? The best way is to expand and cross out and eliminate wrong answers, because there's going to be answer choices, I believe. No answer choices. So you have to do it by hand and leave it like that, and I'll grade it. Okay?